この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Beastars episode 4. PAS came out with their subs a little bit earlier, a little bit faster this week, which is wonderful because it means that I can put it on Saturday, which is a relatively not so packed as many of my days are day for me, which is nice. So we're good to go on Beastars episode 4. Last time on Beastars in episode 3, we had I think we had some pretty cool discussion, some things to talk about in that episode, and a bit of understanding of maybe some of our characters a little bit more than we did before. The first person who we learned a bit about was Haru, who was very forward, let's say, toward LotGH, and a little bit chastened by the realization that he wasn't actually trying to proposition her like that. But I think we've talked at length about the problems that she must have gone through to have assumed such things of him, and how many times she may have been right. Then we had some talks between some of the other boys in the school, including the I think he's like half and half rabbit who we had heard about before from a different rabbit who knocked Haru's lunch tray out and like threw her into some water and was just a bitch. But all of these guys are sitting around talking about how much of a bitchy she is, how much of a slut she is, and I mean, there's nothing that I could more clearly call straight up slut shaming. Pretty not okay, and I talked about some reasons why that kind of resonated with me personally. Then we also got some really interesting stuff that I found interesting, at least, of the sort of like foil mirror thing going on here between Luis, the dominant charismatic herbivore, and Legosi, our main character, and the meek and trying to hide his carnivore side as much as possible, Legosi. And then we had some interesting revelations and realizations and a bit of an epiphany from Legosi during his what is it? It's environment time, which is a cool idea. They all go and sit in an environment that facilitates their just general well-being. And then we moved on to the play itself. We also had some hints and bits and bobs of the newspaper club, and that they are on watch for any kind of slip up from Luis, and ready to tear him down if it means more viewership of their paper, which is full yellow journalism, but hey, whatever. And they might just get that chance, because while Luis did pull off an awesome performance as oh shit, I forgot the name of the character that he's playing, the one who's traditionally associated with being a carnivore, but is sort of a Zoro-esque masked crusader, and cool. Well, he's not actually masked in the story that they're telling. I think he is a Reaper, potentially the Grim Reaper. And so Luis pulled off the first night's performance, but they have a 2-night play to do, and Luis just collapsed as he thinks to himself about what a great job he did, and he put on a solid show and made it through, but he has pushed himself beyond the brink. So the club is going to have to figure out something to do if they want to continue, the show must go on this thing, and I have the odd sneaking suspicion that somehow it's going to involve Legosi. Not sure how, not sure in what way, but interested to find out. In any case, that's all the things that I wrote down. I know that there were some more things to talk about, but we talked about most of the episode in the last reaction. So let's go ahead and dive on into episode 4 and see what we see what happens, see how this story keeps playing out. And yeah, let's do it. So I've got episode 4 of Beastars up and ready to go. There will be two versions of this reaction video. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. If you want discussion, that'll be on the timer-based version and not on the picture-in-picture version, so mix and match as you see fit. And if you want to sync up your own copy of the episode with the timer-based version up on YouTube, you're more than welcome to do so. Just get your copy ready, because the beep beep timer to count you down will be coming at you right about now. So fucking groovy. The brass in the back. Little boop. Sure is. Ow. Let the Holy Grail soak. Yeah. More. The more. Well, he was out. So, yeah. Oh wow, with an IV. Oh shit. I keep saying his name is Louis, but it's Louis. Silent S. Nope, you pulled it off, bud. You held on. But that's his first care. Oh, he's been walking around on a fractured leg. Fuck. Yeah. Lay it out, man. You can't ease into it. Like a boss. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Yeah. That is exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Is this all in his head? Or is this the real thing? Yeah. Only got one night. Yes. The lights. Mm. Oh, he's playing. Oh, he's playing his role now. Oh. Oh. Leaves a void. Who else is it gonna be? Who looks unoccupied? Not me, please. No. Mm. You're gonna kill it, buddy. And his role requires him to play the villain. Oh. Yes, you are. You have to let yourself in. This is cool. Wow, it's so fluid. I bet it's at 24. You really are, aren't you? Carnivore v carnivore. You gotta love freedom of camera. Something you can only do in animation, and usually only in CG. Hmm. Just give in to who you are. Oh, I'll go see to come and talk to him. Hmm. Mana. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just a sliver of a moon. All right. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Ooh. They're real tiny, right? Not gonna happen. Ori. Who's that? It's Louis. Hey, buddy. But his whole point was to have an herbivore play him. Yeah. Whew. How will they react when they realize it's not their hero up on stage? A little bit. Mm-hmm. One who embraces themselves. Yeah. Get the feeling that we're hinting at him maybe being the murderer. I don't know. Weird. Going through his lines. What does he smell? Not Haru, right? What does he smell? Is he carrying meat with him? Illegal meat? He's gonna fight him for real on stage. A little bit. Oh, fuck. No, it isn't. Split. Doping. Music's on point. Oh, this is so good. Bit stiff there. The doping, right? Or that. Doesn't have the presence at all of Louis. Gonna crush him. gonna fall apart. The fight with Legosi's gonna save it, isn't it? Oh, nothing to get a snap of. Hey, Legosi. Yeah, he's losing them. He's gonna get him back, though. And prove himself as an actor. Because it's fucking real. Oh, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, what acting? Yes. At Louis' feet. Fucking awesome. Oh, fuck. Two large carnivores, baby. This is not in the script, and that is blood. Yeah, he's not pulling. Because it's real. Because it's real. Oh my god, he's just destroying him. Oh, the flowers. It's a big fucking tiger. It's crushing him. Oh, that's a good line. Oh, that's deep. Oh, fuck. Oh, the music is so on point. Improv it, baby. Who be that? Oh! We're way off script, but who cares? Fuck yeah, Louis. On a broken leg again. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But it was fucking awesome. Oh my god, that was way too short. Is there? Nope. That's it. Different visuals. Oh, the letter. Is it also a different song? I actually don't remember. I think it is. So it's gonna be different every episode. Yeah, this is totally different. Okay, cool. Super cool. Hmm. The curtain falls. Okay. So I have gone from like trepidatious and suspicious about Louis to oh fuck. I really like this character a lot. Um Lugosi is our boy, you know, but Louis is proving himself over and over again. And it's just cool to see. As a person with his own struggles, he desperately doesn't want to be viewed as someone to pity, and he isn't. He is fucking strong, and not in the way that Lugosi is supposed to be, or that carnivores are. It's a different kind of strength. Lugosi has a different kind of strength too. This was interesting. This was interesting. This tiger, Bill, kind of embodies all of the things that Lugosi doesn't want to be as a carnivore, and that's cool because now we have two very different types of foils for our wolfy boy. We've got Louis, the herbivore with seemingly boundless internal like force of will and charisma, and then we've got Bill, who's a bit of an asshole. He's a jock. I don't know if that really fits because he's in the drama club, but he seems to fit the archetypal jock to me, and the use of blood as doping, as something to accelerate his carnivore side, I would assume, is really interesting and cool. Okay, there are a couple of shots. I will say that there's going to be probably a bit less discussion on this episode just because of how much of it takes place in the separate context of the play, and we get comparatively little time to explore like internal thoughts, which are what usually spark more discussion from me. But I think there is going to be some interesting stuff to look at and talk about in production terms. This scene as everybody fades out is great. The encroaching vignetting that puts us into Louis' mind, even as we're pulling out away from him. Usually, when we go into the mind of a character, the traditional thing to do is to pull in with a shot, and here we're pulling out, but we've got this darkness encroaching that's like, and also I think there's a fade on the voices. Yeah. Yeah, it's just slowly fading out as his inner monologue gets louder. And our the entirety of our focus, like we've got him center frame, all of this falls to the wayside, falls into black and white, as well as to darkness. Amazing. And then we turn to Bill when we bring the color back into the scene. Uh, I do wonder if there was any kind of hinting here that Bill might be the perpetrator of the first act of violence that we saw in the show. There's not enough to go off of right now, but it's quite possible. He's definitely a carnivore who leans into his carnivore side and pats himself on the back a bit. Had some really interesting lines though. So, the other thing is that we forced Legosi into a position where he has to embrace his carnivore side, and then we give him a reason to as well. Like he's forced to be a fighter for the show, but then we give him a real reason to. Now this sequence is fucking dope, and I said it during, but there's something special about the way that Studio Orange uses their freedom of camera movement, and it you can see it to great effect, but to a lesser extent over the course of Hoseki no Kuni, their first major CG show that they did. And here they're doing some really interesting things with the freedom that's allowed by having a CG camera. It's not something that we think about a lot when it comes to animation, because we kind of assume that like in 2D animation you can do whatever you want to do with the camera and whatever, so long as you have the people who are talented enough and the time to create characters in odd positions and odd angles, as well as making everything match up with the backgrounds and with the movements of the camera, because that requires redrawing. If you're bringing a character closer, you have kind of two ways of doing it. You can either just zoom their cell in, which always looks funky, or you can redraw every time. And if you're doing any kind of tilting or panning or any kind of other motion, you must redraw. Otherwise, it very much looks wonky. And even then, if you're redrawing, it's really difficult in 2D animation to get the movement of the camera, the character, and the background to all feel right. It's almost impossible to get it just so. Whereas in a CG space, you can move around a CG camera and actually capture the way that things would look from the camera's point of view. This is part of the reason that we've seen a massive uptick in the use of CG spaces with 2D animated characters, because you can place the 2D character in a position on the CG area, set up your camera moves, and then redraw to match. And it becomes a lot easier to get things to sync up. But when everything is CG, you can be certain in a shot like this, where we pull in through, around, like, this whole sequence is freaking awesome. We have quick action, which I'm going to say I will guess is it's already in 24, and then 12, and it's moving on off frames for the background and the characters. But then as we get into the high action, like the high movement scenes, it's one and for in fact, I think that that's something interesting. It seems like Bill's motions are a lot smoother than Regoshi's. So he's on twos. I'm gonna call it ones and twos. On ones. The next stroke though. Yeah, ones. Ones across the board. But we do a full 360 almost around Legosi for this. And then we pull out around all this way. Bam. And then through the arm, something that you couldn't do either in film or animation easily. And in to pull in on a tight shot of his face, have him loom up above us. That's really awesome. So it's not just clever, it's also a clever use of the technology and a type of shot that could not exist in a non-CG show. That's kind of fucking great. The whole scene and the whole choreography of the scene is fantastic. It's something else about CG is that you need to know where your models are at all times. You can't really fake it so much in the way that you can with also some cool smeary stuff going on there. You can't really fake it as much as you can with 2D stuff. I mean, hell, watch any episode of SAO and you'll see light blurs that are a vague estimation of sword strokes. You can't really do that with CG. You kind of have to actually choreograph it. But the choreography and the cinematography, and I think we can safely call it that because we do have a moving camera deciding where it wants to be on the shots, is accenting all of the interesting things here, and it's just real cool. There's also lots of nice little touches like the I guess you could say that they're like bokken that they're using. Here we see them bending around the perspective and in their course of motion. Oh, that's just really cool. Into this low angle, it's grip and grab, and the difference between Legosi's grimace and Bill's happy smile. He's so thrilled to get to fight. He's so into his own blood, if you will, his carnivore side. Makes him another perfect foil for Legosi, but in a very different way. This is just practice, right? Oh, sort of. This is environment time, isn't it? More than anything, at least for Bill. But this isn't something that Legosi wants. We'll have the performance of our lives, grinning, happy. And Legosi just looks sad, like he just gave in to something that he's been resisting for his entire life. How is he able to think the way he does? And he's not sure whether to admire him or what to feel about this. He just felt a part of himself that he entirely associates with the negative, with that night where he almost gave in and almost killed Haru. He associates these feelings with the bad, and he doesn't know how to find a balance between them. And I think neither does Bill. Bill leans into his charismatic, violent, carnivorous side. Oh, it's so interesting. I'll try. And the smile. It's very cute. Looking at the Adler mask, wondering if he's worthy. But he'll go. Waiting in the room. Nah, didn't it? No, not really. Nothing to sniff at, but at the same time it loses the essence of what Louis was trying to get across, that an herbivore could stand in a carnivore's place. But only he could have done that. And we see it as he acts. Bill is fine, but he doesn't have the stage presence that Louis does. And a large part of that is just the way that it's directed and the way that the shots are done. But then we have this bit of a wrinkle. The blood, the doping. He laughs it off. Also, I assume that this is the carnivore boy's bathroom and that there might be a, or maybe not. Maybe it's just ears because it's cute. Are you looking for a taste of it yourself? And he is just disgusted. Again, the difference between the big grin and the growl. It's not from one of the students. What day better than today? And I love this. It's easy to live in the shadows like you. You have no idea. I want to live out in the light. But he has a point, to an extent. He takes it too far, but he has a point, to an extent. It's just the flip side. An image of what you could be. Why won't you take responsibility for your own strength? I have to say, Bill's voice actor put on an amazing performance of doing somebody putting on an okay performance. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. I think that it takes talent to demonstrate a slight lack of talent. Again, I don't know if that makes much sense, but he's a little bit stiff as Adler. He's a little bit nervous. He's being grandiose for sure, but it's false. Whereas from Louis, in the scenes that we've seen it comes across more naturally. And it helps that we saw Louis in some of the more climactic moments as he's acting. And there was a lot of flair and bravado that was also kind of built into the choreography and cinematography and the way that the camera moved around him. I remember a scene where he whips the sword and we are like whipping around him during it, and it's amazing. And the scene where he's running through the place with the Ellen, the character that the zebra woman is playing behind him. But the other thing is that when we saw Louis just practicing, just in rehearsal, we were given the full view of the reality that they're presenting, right? So it felt real, and so we associate that with Louis, and this just pales in comparison. It's wonderful. And as he goes, we see that the audience is just like, come on, that's not Louis. Who do you think you are, buddy? This is poop. This is poop. And then Lugosi steps up. And hot diggity dog, that is amazing. Found something he wants to fight for and against. He's gonna take it out on him. And he gives in to his primal side. Oh. But there's no hint of shadow here. Man, this moment where he runs up and clocks him. Oh, that's brutal. And the blood vial falls to Louis's feet, and he discovers what's going on. Just wailing on him until he catches him and embraces him. And again, is embracing him like carnivore brother. Our blood is the same. Where Lugosi doesn't want to be that. Not to that extent. And again, grinning. Almost evilly. Then he digs his claws in. You can see it's just the tips here. But then he sinks them deep into the muscles of his back. All my life I've suffered because of this blood. And he falls. And Louis saves the day, saves the scene. What does he say? I'm the lead, at least let me land a cool finishing blow. Yeah, but you're not the lead, and you never will be. Not while Louis here. And it's not Adler. It's Louis, the real hero, the B-star, right? Interesting. You're back to being a villain. You always were. Off you trot. And he manages, in the course of this, to achieve what he wanted to achieve. to touch the hearts of people and show them that an herbivore can stand in a carnivore's role as he reaches out towards someone who would tower above him and helps lift him to his feet. His slender hand, and everyone cheers. And they stand together in the spotlight. That was a cool episode. That was a cool episode. I can't wait to see what ripples this has, because there are gonna be some ramifications here. Louis knows about Bill's blood habit, and that's a bit of an issue for Bill. Legosi just made an enemy of sorts. Maybe. Depends on how Bill sees it. I get the feeling that Bill thinks that he's won somehow. Interesting. All right. Well, this was a pretty awesome episode of Beastars. It continues to impress in different ways than I ever expect. Episode to episode, it's hitting really interesting beats in the storytelling and presenting them in really wonderful ways through the animation and the direction and the cinematography. Oh, and I have to make a shout out because the music, the OST, the backing music, and the use of it, the places where it was put, was just on point throughout this episode. Really enjoyable, really added to the experience. So, all in all, another fantastic episode of Beastars. Really enjoyed it. Hope you did too, but it's time to wrap it up. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Beastars episode 4. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope to catch you next week when hopefully PAS does the same thing as they did this time, and I'll have an episode to watch on Saturday. If not, just keep an eye out for it. I mean, I'm not going to be dropping it. It'll just come out whenever I get a chance to do it, which will be dependent on when the subs come out and also on just general, like, scheduling things in my schedule. So we'll see, but it'll be out sometime next week. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.